So in this video, we're going to be reviewing the 1/18 scale F-16 by Elite Force. And this is the Operation Enduring Freedom 2001 version. It's also a limited edition. I just reviewed the F-18 1/18 scale by Elite Force, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll probably put a link up here in the video, right here. So check that out after you watch this one. And yeah, I'm excited. So let's get to the unboxing. All right. So it looks like we have a couple accessories boxes here. All right, and it also came with a certificate, just like the F-18. So here's the fuselage. You can see right here it says, "We'll take it from here." It's the 9/11 tribute insignia. Okay, then it looks like we have another accessories box. So here it is. This is everything that came in the box. We'll start with the biggest accessories box first. All right, so this is everything that came in the first box. So in this box, looks like we have the sidewinders, some bombs, and then the stabilizers. Okay, so this is what it came in the second box. You have 6 bombs, 2 sidewinder missiles, and 2 stabilizers. And these bombs honestly aren't detailed that well. To be honest, I'm actually unimpressed. Some of the other bombs and some of the models like the F-18 were a lot more detailed than this. The sidewinders are okay, but again, it doesn't have the quality that even the F-18 I just reviewed did. Kind of bummed out because I love the F-16, but let's see what else happens. Okay, so here's the last accessories box. All right, so here's everything that came in the third box, and it looks like we do have some instructions here. And this just basically tells you how to assemble it, how to put the seat in, the pilot in, the missiles, the bombs, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so now we're going to review the pilot. Looks like his elbows move, his shoulders, his wrist, his knees, his toes, and hips as well. And he does have a helmet, and it comes with an oxygen mask. And you can remove it, just like this. There's a good look at the pilot's face. So for the helmet, you do have the oxygen mask, and then you also have the tube with the connection for the microphone and the speakers, or the headphones. You also have a visor here, and that's pretty much it. But it's pretty detailed. I like the way it looks. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the weapons. First thing I'm gonna do is install the sidewinders. And you have under the bottom here, these little slots that line up with these tabs. And you just push them in like that. And then to install, on the wingtips, you have these little slots right there, and then a tab that line up, and you just push it on like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna install the AIM-120s, and this is the B version. And I'm gonna take this tab right here and line it up with that slot. And again, you can see a little notch cut out there that matches up. That's how you know the right way to do it. And you just push it together like that, and it's gonna go on the second station outside. And then you can see it has a unique attachment like that. Okay, so now to install the bombs, you just have these little holes that line up with these tabs here. And all you do is just push them in. These actually do fit pretty good, but again, I'm just the lack of detail, and I really care about detail if you watch my channel, is a little, it's a bummer to be honest with you. But the F-16 fuselage and everything else we'll get to might make up for it, so we'll see. Once you have the bombs on, it fits 3 to a station, then you just take it and you push it down just like you did with the AIM-120. So there we go. Same thing with the other side. This time I'm gonna do it the right way. I'm gonna go ahead and install the hard point like that, and then put the bombs on. So to install the wings, it's actually pretty easy. You have, again, another slot here, and then a tab, and then you do have a little slot there that coincides with each side, so you know, obviously, which way to go. And you'll know which way you're supposed to install these wings just by looking at it. if you know the F-16, of course. You just push them on. They go on pretty easy, which is nice. And I do like the paint of the F-16 itself. The fuselage looks really good. That's one thing I am really impressed with that I think is actually gonna make up for, you know, the lack of detail in the bombs. Okay, so for the vertical stabilizer, again with the tab and the slot, you just line it up. And you do have to give it a little push, but there it is. It's not as flush as I would like, to be honest with you, but I really do like this paint job, so I'm kind of partial to the F-16 anyways. If you haven't noticed my logo. There we go. Looks good so far. So for the horizontal stabilizers, tabs, line them up. There's one. There's the other. So there it is. There's the F-16 assembled as far as the wings and armament goes. Okay, so I'm gonna do the landing gear first before I do the drop tanks, just because it'll be a little easier to get in here. So for the front landing gear, you just have this little door you open up, and then it comes up and locks in place. It's actually really easy to do. And then the wheel is also a hard plastic. And the landing gear itself, again, this is the one thing I'm kind of bummed out about. The quality seems like it's really lacking in the details of this model. I mean, even like the paint inside the wheel area, the wheel house, they didn't even care about that. And some of the other models they did, they gave some weathering. So for the rear landing gear, you're just gonna flip open these doors, and then you're gonna pop it out like this, and they lock into place. This definitely has more of the toy feel to it, and I know these were actually designed to be toys, but what happened is with Elite Force, they kind of bridged the gap between modelers and toys, and unfortunately they stopped making these. But this F-16, you can't really get it in another 1/18 scale. I am glad and I'm super happy they made it. I mean, the fact that you can buy a 1/18 scale F-16 pre-built, just pop a couple pieces together, is amazing. And the landing gear at least feels pretty solid once you lock it in. I mean, when you push it forward, it's got to be designed to go down. But as far as locking in place, it feels like once you get some weight on it, they don't feel too flimsy. Some of the other ones feel very flimsy. And the hook does come up as well. All right, so to install the drop tanks, you're just going to take this hard point here, and you're going to line it up with that tab in this slot. Just going to push them in. All right, so I did end up taking off the wings to get the hard points on for the drop tanks. It just made it a lot easier because they do have to snap in place. And so for the drop tank, you have these two little slots in the bottom, these holes, and these tabs that line up. So it does take a little bit of wiggling to get them on, but once you get them on, it's a good fit. There it is, completed with the drop tanks. Okay, so next we have the fins, and you can't go wrong with these because even these slots are different sizes. Okay, so next we have the antenna here, and it's showing how to install them in the back of the wing, but it is saying to use super glue. That's what those little drops are right there. We also have the pitot tube, and to install it, you just take the front, and it has a little slot that you line up, and you push in. Okay, so right here is where the antenna go, these little holes right here, and you're just gonna push it in like that. And they're saying to use glue, so I'll probably go back and glue these in. And that's what it looks like with the antenna installed, and I would definitely recommend glue, and you will probably need to straighten these out a little bit. Also, it did come with these decals, and I'm not gonna install them right now because the decals I just installed on the F-18 didn't stick very well. But that's showing you where they would go. All right, so I'm gonna give you a detailed cockpit view where I put the pilot and the seat in, so you can kind of see what it looks like. You can see the controls here. You have the stick, you have MFDs there and on the other side. Then here's the HUD. Here's a better look at the controls. You can actually see the radio panel as well. And here's a view from the other side. So I don't really know why they didn't include the seat already installed, but maybe they just wanted you to see the detail because it is pretty detailed. But to install it, you have this little tab that sticks into those slots right there. And you can only go into the front slot, not the rear slot. Just like that. And maybe it slides back a little bit, but once you push it back, it fits into place pretty good. And you can't install the pilot beforehand because it won't work. Okay, so I did get the pilot installed, and I noticed something pretty important. There's no throttle down there. So I don't know how they missed that. That's a huge feature, but they did. And he sits up pretty high. The pilot doesn't really sit low enough to even grab the stick. So when you close it, I mean, it actually touches his head a little bit. And I pushed the seat down as far as it'll go, and the pilot's back as far as he'll go too. So, I mean, but once he's in there, it looks good. So they did include a ladder, and it looks like it has some wheels, or it's supposed to have wheels there as well. And I'm glad they included it. It just gives a little more realism. If you wanted to set it up like this, like it's parked after it just taxied or whatnot, you can do that. But it doesn't look like it's high enough, so I don't know if that's accurate or not. All right, so now I'm just gonna go around and give you a detailed view of the fuselage and show you some of the writing. And it looks like down here, we have a little insignia, 389th Fighter Squad. And if anything is inaccurate or whatever, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you know how accurate this is. No step. I don't know what that is right there. Shoot me a message if you know in the comments. And I did end up gluing these on. So unfortunately, the horizontal stabilizers do not move. The ailerons don't move. The rudders don't move. So a little bummer of that. I do like the weathering here of the engine. They do show that. And inside, you can see a fan. So not much of the stuff moves on this plane, unfortunately, like a lot of the other models. And then on this side over here, I don't know what that means. If you know, let me know in the comments. Some more writing there. And here's a little better view of the bottom. See the lack of detail in there? That's the only thing. I do like the paint though. I think they did a really good job on the paint. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Alright, so I figured I'd give you guys a view of the F-16 and the F-18 together. In real life, the F-16 was a little smaller, and you can actually tell here the F-18 is a little bigger. So actually looks like the scaling was right. And if you want to check out the F-18 video, if you haven't seen it yet, I go way in more depth, and I also do the unboxing review of it. So let me know what you think. Alright, so that's about it for the F-16. Thanks for watching. If you wouldn't mind, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of other 1/18 scale models I review, planes, tanks, helicopters, and more coming. So if you wouldn't mind, check out my channel, and thanks for watching.